Just a small snafu. Turns out /quit is not .quit on like it is in Twitch chat.
All right, we had rupees off the get for Zaen and quite a few of them.
And hello.
Hey, we have Lentai now.
All right, well, I will take leave then. Oh, and actually, I think he has some volume issues to fix, but let's keep this going then.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The original commentary was supposed to be Lentai, but... Oh, yes! We're doing Houlihan. This is awesome. I'm so happy.
Nice.
This is... I think Xirtanul is doing my favorite, like, start, which is, like, Houlihan and then south of Grove.
Ooh, and an early Moon Pearl here. Very nice. Doesn't answer the Aga question necessarily.
No. It does say something. It does mean he has a very interesting route through here.
Yeah, he's really giving it a good old loop.
Oh,
and even leaving 10 behind.
He's going to feel really good about this now. Okay. And so now we've got that going. Also, I just noticed he's using Vivi. That's a good sprite. Oh, was that just a rupee? Oh, wow. This is interesting. He's buying bombs as well.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that the shop is here.
Well, yeah, I only just recently found that out. That people didn't know that shop was there. That's the shop I used mostly when I played casually.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, when it comes to this early game and just on the chance they're out of bombs before you hit your south route, as Xert is doing, like this can be a godsend, especially if, say, you just get a ton of not necessarily progression items out of Kakariko.
I wonder, is he like doing things he wouldn't have normally done just because, like, he's got the game up, maybe? Like, he's
I'm not sure.
Because, like, that's a strategy. Like, do something crazy, and then if it pays off, it doesn't really matter if when he goes to Kakariko. Like, if he gets, like, bow, or if he gets something here, it's gonna pay off so well.
Yeah, it really could be huge. All right, and some simultaneous love there. Both runners and a flute here.
Oh, wow.
Something by the dam. Very nice.
Wow, I mean, this is huge right here. And now when he goes to the village, you can just activate his flute. Doesn't have to make another trip there.
Yeah,
he's saving time.
Yeah, he'll probably save and quit out of this mini Moldorum cave here, you'd expect, because he can go activate the flute and then just fly back to 8 whenever he likes.
Right.
Meanwhile, we are getting Zaen, who has been following a more traditional opening.
Almost the basically doing the standard route, but like not actually doing Hyrule Castle.
Right.
And he'll eventually probably have to go back to Hyrule. There's a lot of items there. I mean, it's not common, but I've seen it happen. Oh yeah, and see, like exactly what she said. He's gonna save and quit here, and you can fly to 8 later.
Yeah, when you get that flute into your inventory, you want to go activate it because that is just potential all over the place.
Was he hoping to have 500 rupees?
Oh man.
And then just like because he got the early Moon Pearl, right? So
yeah.
Oh no, he doesn't have the Moon Pearl.
Wait.
Where was Moon Pearl?
Moon Pearl was off the uncle. Moon Pearl was off the uncle.
Okay.
He doesn't have it yet. Wow.
Okay. Whew.
You also have someone remembering that today is not the 28th, but the 29th. Hi, how are you?
All right.
Hey,
we do have a Glentai this time, so I'll take my leave. You guys have fun.
Hey, thank you very much, Epi. Everyone give a little bit of love to Epipoliticus for showing up while I remembered that today is actually an important day.
Important indeed. Let's get
and we now have level 1 sword.
Peace, guys.
Peace. Thank you, Epi.
Thank you, bud. And hi, Zelnus. How are you?
Glenn. I'm doing great.
It seems like we've already... Oh, good to hear. It already seems like we have one heck of a start going on. We already see Moon Pearl First Sword, the flute, Doot Doot, the red ring, and Fisher Price, my first shield.
Yeah, the flute coming from a very odd route choice, but not bad. Like doing Cell Short, you're gonna do Cell Short eventually. It's just there's like 5 items in within 2 seconds of each other. But now he just activated it, so...
That is really quite the gamble, but at the same time, it did indeed pay off.
I mean, I'm sure he was hoping it would pay off more, like maybe gloves and torch, and then just go to Death Mountain, or a bow and torch, do Eastern.
It's one of those things where you really hope that you can just skip over what might seem like pointless chests. But unfortunately, in this case, no matter what you did, you ended up having to come back to this route, because anytime you can skip a bunch of useless chests, you always want to be able to take that advantage. Unfortunately, it was one of those gambles that didn't exactly pay off, but it at least had some benefits.
Yeah, and we're seeing them now kind of converging at Kakariko. I mean, you'll probably always do Kakariko. There's just too many items. The chance that nothing is here is so slim. And I mean, you'll end up here anyway with like the flute or whatever, so. Although,
it's true.
As we say that, so far there's only been a sword, because the Moon Pearl is off Uncle.
Now, do refresh my memory. Did we see an escape route yet?
We saw, like, do you mean... No, we haven't been to escape. We've only seen Uncle.
Okay. Good to know. Then we definitely still have one interesting start between both of these runners, which, to be fair... Oh, there's a map check. Green Pendant at Desert and 2 crystals, respectively, at... Yeah, I was about to say Desert, but no. Eastern and Tower of Hera. Neither of them 5 or 6. And there we have Xirtanul going and releasing Swag Duck. The duck is unstuck, and as one of our friends says, the goose is loose. Meanwhile, we're apparently getting Zaen to go through a race check, and we're going to see what's on there. I ended up missing if they checked earlier, or if it was just something that they ended up taking the risk on.
I think this is a risk. I don't think he's checked this.
Understand.
With the sword, it's really fun.
Oh, that is potentially fantastic to have.
Well, it's always fantastic to have. It's just whether or not. Yes, we don't have to search for it, but it's still a good weapon regardless. Freezes dose, solid. Can be used as a weapon on to damage some enemies. Can be used on Lamoa if you don't find the fire rod and you don't have bow.
That is a very good point.
Not actually super useful damage-wise, but can be used to freeze enemies. Although it's a large portion of your magic, so you only did 8 shots. So Xirtanul, once he's done with race team, he'll be able to flute to 8 most likely. Although he never actually got that money back. So when he spent them on the bombs, if he never bought those bombs, he'd have enough money right now. But he also wouldn't have been able to do this route to get the flute.
That is a good point.
There's actually a lot of people trying out this route where you don't go to Kakariko first. You see if doing dungeons or other things, and you can just avoid this area.
That's
come back later.
Interesting gamble.
Hopefully, I think that the idea of the gamble is that you're gonna do these other areas almost every time. But if let's say you get Dark World access, then you can combine both Dark World hubs as one check.
That would be a super amazing routing decision at that point.
Mm-hmm. And now that we have a sword, Xirtanul is going to 4. Interesting.
Never a bad choice to get that out of the way, especially since we've definitely seen some occasions where the items that were in important places were in fact in escape somewhere, somehow.
There was a really good seed, actually. I can't remember if it was Key Sanity or just an open in the daily where sword was at Uncle, vanilla. Just vanilla sword.
Oh my goodness.
Half of the players were playing swordless for 50 minutes because you could just do literally everything else in the seed. I was one of those players. I don't go to Uncle first.
No.
So that was an interesting one. So yeah, we can see
Uncle
that sometimes.
First was a strategy that we saw very early on in the secondary tournament, and for a while it was paying off, especially when we were on version 26. However, as we continued up the ladder of this tournament, it seems as if Uncle is now a forgotten memory of the past.
Well, I think a lot of people there's a lot of very good runners, Problems, TGH, etc., who Like, you're using, that's like a minute and a half you don't have to, like, waste, right? Because you go to, it's about 45 seconds to walk to Uncle, and it's about 30 seconds to walk to the castle. That's about a minute and 15 seconds that you didn't have to spend needlessly rewalking there. You can combine that all into one trip. And you'd be surprised that, ooh.
Shovel time. Hope you're digging to see some fetch quests, because if you can't dig it, I can.
I mean, we had a tie in this tournament. Like,
oh,
every second counts.
That is very true. That is a very good point. And I do not remember if it was Xirtanul, but I know there was one race that was commentated that I was a part of that literally had less than 4 seconds between each other. And I know we've seen less than 2 and a literal tie.
Yeah. So this people always like underestimate how much skill and route indecisions do play into Randomizer. But
hey, and there is
oh wow, this is loaded.
This is some good signs. But really, when it also, along with solid riding decisions, as someone who's commentated for one and lost against the other, execution is the name of the game between these two, and both of them are absolutely fantastic at it. It's going to be very entertaining to see at what point they not only converge, but oh my goodness, what throwing a frozen body.
Yeah, that's another good use of the ice rod is the frozen enemies count as a pot, which is around tempered damage for most enemies. So
I had never seen that in all of the races I've watched. And my favorite part is I can now say the family-friendly version. He beat a jerk with another jerk. Wow. Now I got that in my system, Xirtanul's going using dark strats to get to the dark chest, probably going to also use the key to go further into the back of Escape because there was a lack of gloves. Also, very fortunately, we also have the mirror, so no one has to worry about a death strat and wasting the excess time there.
And we see it again.
And Zaen pulling off the same shenanigans. You gotta love it.
Oh, is Xirtanul gonna do the whole thing? Yeah, looks like it.
It appears that he's doing as such. He's now picking up the chest, which has the flippers.
Oh, that's huge. This is a huge sequence. I mean, they're probably gonna fake flipper anyway, but that's still a big deal.
But now Xirtanul can fake flipper. And to all of those memesters out in the chat, water those. I get you. I see you out there. But this is definitely shaping up to what the community often calls a jet seed, where you just get a onslaught of all the items that you require through the rest of the race.
Yeah, jets for going fast. Gotta go fast. We are still, well, some people wouldn't call us speeders. I think this is still speed, at least racing.
I like to call this speed adventuring to all of those that try to turn their nose up to it.
It's fine. There are different stills. I can see some randomizers lead themselves more to speed running versus speed racing, or some that only say if it. Oh,
Xirtanul not counting the sanctuary chest and picking up the burrito at the end just to confirm.
That's not a huge time waste. That's fine.
No, of course.
Like counting that, like you're just it's habit at that point. That was more of a. He's also not shuffling. But I guess he wants to do all the flipper stuff. So.
That's not a bad call, especially since now he does have 500 rupees.
Just he has the flute, so I mean he could have fluted to 8. It doesn't really matter. That shovel spot's out of the way. He has the mirror, so maybe he's banking on just being able to do it with other Dark World stuff.
That's entirely possible.
And we're seeing both runners basically do the same thing. Like even just techniques, which made sense. These two got to the finals of a very, very long tournament.
Oh, absolutely. And to show that you can get to the end of the finals doing so, learning your dark routes is definitely absolutely vital for being able to get through without having to go in a roundabout manner, if you will. Zaen also picking up the burrito.
Yeah, we have Vivi and Papaya, so we have two very RPG sprites here.
Absolutely. Shout outs to two of my favorites.
I need to play Secret again.
Everyone should.
I haven't played Seiken Detsu in a very long time. I'm hoping I can pick up a SNES Classic today. There's a small chance I can.
Best of luck. In the meantime, Xirtanul heading over to the Ice Rod chest, and it's a whole lot of love.
That's fine.
Not
It's
a bad thing to find early in the game.
Yeah, I think it's underestimated how nice it is to have a lot of health. Those seeds where you're stuck on like 6-7 hearts for most of the game.
Oh
man,
yeah.
Happens a lot in Qsanity.
We have found Quake, also known as Quack, also known as the Wavy Coin.
Nice.
Always a good thing to have. Now you are a 2 in 6 or possibly a 1 in 3 chance.
Zaen playing this match close to his chest, not using his sequence break, versus Xirtanul, who's just going full on, which equal amount of items, honestly, what they're checking. So, just one green rupee. Oh, there might not be anything here. This is the problem with sequence break, and this game or the current versions are very attached to their sequence. They don't really let you skip anymore. So, like, coming here without having the lamp and you have flippers might not pay off. We'll see. There's a Master Sword. I didn't see what was on the ledge, though.
There wasn't... Oh, yeah, you're right. No, I saw the Master Sword, and I missed what was on the ledge.
It looked almost like a sword. It looks long, so it might be a rod, or it might be an arrow. That's the issue with those golden arrows.
That is a very good point. And we're going to see what everyone's favorite scam artist has for us today. Here's hoping it's something like the lamp.
Oh, it was bombs. Wow, I don't know what I saw then.
Oh, what a wonderful lesson, love.
Okay, well, this is the obvious place to go. Now, we do have Master Sword. Like I said, this game likes to beat the obvious Akka play into your skull. So if we find Lamp, like, there are some people who, as soon as they have the items acquired...
We have literacy. Okay, we have the Book of Medora just hanging out in the back
Interesting. There. And we have the Master Sword, and we have the mirror.
All we're missing is a fire source, and we could actually take care of the green pendant, despite the fact that no one necessarily wants to have to do a pendant.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking more that we can get up to... We can read and get the Ether Tablet while we're here.
Ooh, that is true. Now that we've taken a book, we can actually also take a look and experience the Reading Rainbow, and hopefully either of those tablets will have something of value. Meanwhile, Zaen taking an interesting route, not dropping down, but deciding to go the way he came in, to just walk all the way back up and then use the mirror. I mean, both work.
I know some people save and quit. So I don't actually know what's faster.
Yeah, I've never timed them. That's actually
something I'd be meaning to time.
Yeah, same. And it looks like most likely we're going to be seeing the Ether Tablet checked first. Meanwhile, Xirtanul is apparently going through to see what the old man has, something that I don't believe Zaen has done yet.
Oh, missed.
And here we go. Survey says, oh my goodness, it's the first glove.
Wow. So that
Master Sword, the power glove, and that is a fantastic
was required, but it wasn't required for Aga so far.
That is an interesting turn of events. If they find the hammer anytime soon, that is going to be one heck of a just kidding, no need for Aga seed.
Yeah, just giving us everything that we need. I'd love to find the lamp here and have the other piece be in the basement, just for that, just for that bait.
Ooh, no basement required.
Well, don't count your chickens. We haven't seen any item yet.
Oh, fair. I did mean to add a yet to the end of that. My mistake.
There are a lot of ways to do this room, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really good way.
Ooh, that was clean of Zaen. That was very nice to have seen that.
Is he not in the book right now?
Whoa, wait.
Oh, okay.
Xirtanul just realized what that was and goes, wait a second.
Wait a second. I need that now. It made sense. He was going to leave it, and then he just kind of clicked into his brain, oh, wait, I have Master Sword. There's an Ether Tablet up here. Because
there's so many people that aren't used to necessarily having that.
Well, if the item's here, but it's not really required right now, a lot of people are gonna save and quit.
Oh, Zaen unfortunately falling down the hole to the first or second floor. Oof.
And
yeah,
yes,
hate to see that.
Gets one of the harder like randomizer bomb jumps.
Whoa. Kudos to Xirtanul for that bomb jump. I'm gonna have to watch this VOD later. I've been meaning to learn that.
Yeah, me too. It doesn't look like a pip that's bomb jumpable, but
no, it definitely doesn't.
Yeah, that drop, by the way, is a huge time loss from that middle hole. So some people will,
some people are salty quit out of it.
Yeah, I've seen people quit when they've lost that jump. I mean, that's a common reset for the No Major Glitches run, which is gonna have a tournament in March, and there is a sign-up limit. It's actually coming close, so if you want to get in, you do need to get a PB by March 18th to stay in the tournament. Oh wow! Okay, he realized he was wrong, and then used sword buffer to move up one square. Good job.
That was pretty solid.
And Firebug RNG. This tower is a huge source of RNG, by the way. It's very subtle. There's a lot of very random enemies, not to mention Moldorm.
Oh, Moldorm is the coup de grace of this RNG tower.
Yeah.
However, we do have a 50-50 chance of Moldorm having the last item. Will he have the last item, or
nope,
will
we don't
see the basement?
Actually, we will see the basement. He has to have a key.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I totally forgot the small.
We don't have a fire source, so
even worse. Oof.
Yeah. So the bottom is is going to be required, but for later. We do have our first crystal though at 21 minutes, which is pretty good. Sometimes you'll go like 50 minutes. You'll just look at the bottom and you'll be like, "I've cleared all of Overworld, and I still can't beat a dungeon."
You definitely seen some seeds like that. Meanwhile, Zaen taking care of Trolldorm, Xirtanul going to find out the hard way that we're now going to have to visit the basement. However, fortunately, with both players activating the flute, they can now immediately head over to, apparently, Desert. Not a bad call. If they've yet to check Agana's cave, that might be a good thing to check on the routing before going into the dungeon, just so you don't end up forgetting it. But
check it after, because if you find the small key in that one chest, then you're already on the right side, and you exit through the right, usually not useful side of Desert.
Okay.
It's an important access point in Entrance Randomizer, well, this entire dungeon is. When you find this section, or Hyrule, or Turtle Rock, it's very important to keep track of where the three exits are, because sometimes this is basically like a giant hallway.
You know, that actually makes a whole lot of sense now that you bring it up that way.
And look, there's the small keys, so...
Yeah, hey, what do you know? Wow. Okay, yeah, no, lesson learned. This is why I didn't make it too far, and Zaen beat me in the tournament.
I'm just mechanically awful at this video game. I understand it, I know what I'm supposed to do, and I'll just make that one choice.
Meanwhile, Xirtanul picking up the Master Sword, immediately heading over, most likely to Desert.
And there's the bid key. So now it's worthwhile to check the bid chest, because it could have an item in it. And then you can also check what's on the pet, like on the stand. It's not necessary. It's not required to beat the dungeon anymore, but it might be required to beat the seed. So it's still worthwhile to check this right here. And it is Bombos, which, even if it's not a requirement for one of the dungeons, could be the requirement to enter Ice Palace for progression. Something to keep in mind. There's the compass. So the last item is on Lammolas. So lots of double dips going to be required in this seed, it looks like. He just remembered he actually can't exit this way. The stone statues revert once you've entered the door.
Meanwhile, we have Zaen going and doing the typical route that you ended up educating me on today.
It is a little rough because, again, it only works. You know, it's only like a time save the way that they're doing it. It's unfortunate they didn't actually get an item from this dungeon. Now, if Lamp or Fire Rod's here, This is gonna feel pretty awful for these runners. Nope, just a piece of art. So next location is probably gonna be Eastern. Also, small interest in there. It's actually faster to save and quit out of Adina if you're planning to flute. It's faster to save and quit and just walk out of your house. That cave is really long.
Yeah, that is an absurdly long cave, especially when you don't have the boots.
Yeah, Zaen hasn't done any of this, so. He actually doesn't have the money to check. He has to do Houlihan. It's hard to tell if... I don't think either runner is in the lead, per se. Because they've just kind of done slight variations while kind of converging on major points.
At this point, you really have to wonder what is going to be the next area that they go to. Chances are that could actually be Eastern Palace. I do believe neither of them have directly gone in there, and that is one of the few that you can immediately go to from the beginning of the game. And speaking of level, there Zaen goes.
Yeah, this is kind of the play. It says we can add a tower, but we don't even have the lamp, and the tower is not an easy climb. It's general recommendation I've seen from the best runners is that if you are in Adja's tower without a lamp, and you are not doing it because you know that Lumberjack Cave has your go mode, you are in the wrong place.
That's a very solid piece of advice that a lot of people need to remember.
This is coming from people who can do Adja's tower cleanly without the lamp. So it's even even with the lamp, it's just rough because there's some RNG in the enemy movements, and dealing with guard RNG in the dark. No thanks.
Never something you want to necessarily have to deal with. In the meantime, it looks like we have the big key. That's going to be one dungeon item we don't have to worry about.
It is possible that all of the items are going to be before the lamp area, so it won't even be a sequence break. Again, the flippers were sequence broken. The flippers were behind the lamp. We haven't gotten any other item from that sequence break yet. There's the hammer, so we have Dark World access now.
And right now, we can safely say AGA 1 not necessarily required.
I mean, no, he's definitely not, right? Unless I'm missing something.
As far as I know, I haven't seen Lumberjack yet because of the fact that I forgot how to count dates.
Oh, yeah. I actually don't. The fact that it didn't stick in, I can't remember if they checked it or not. They both have very interesting start routes, so I feel like none of them went to Lumberjack.
Okay, it seems like even Chad is agreeing that AGA is pretty much on its way out of the possibility.
Lumberjack is a pizza? Okay, thanks, chat. Blue mail. Hey, how nice.
Wow.
Those are 3 items. Like I said, you could get all the items before even leaving here.
Gotta love when that happens. Now that they have the hammer, let's open up this dark world and see what we have on the inside.
So yeah, a little bit of a trolley location for the hammer, but not really. I mean, they both abandoned Adja, and there's some people who say that's wrong. I don't actually think it is. It all depends on what you have. They had the flute, so I don't think it was actually that. Like with the flute, it's fine. It's at the same distance from the flute point in Adja, so. Doing this route from Zaen, I like starting at the village more and doing like the full loop, but
as do I.
This is fine.
Oh, of course.
Oh, he's out of bombs. Dude, this actually might be intentional. Maybe he's. Oh, okay. I thought maybe he was gonna go buy bombs, but.
We have money and resident sleeper cave confirmed. Hype Cave decided to take a several version long vacation.
I don't know. Zaen needed that money pretty badly.
I mean, that is true. He also needed the bombs since he used his last one to open up that area.
So I think that's a deceivingly
maybe we could call
cave.
Maybe we could call it the equal exchange cave at that point.
Laws of equivalent exchange, thus giveth too many good seeds. early. Wait, are we? Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. I like this. Zaen did some interesting routing to get to this point. I commented, I believe, one of the matches to get him here, and that was sick. He had some weird but great routing.
Yeah, Zaen definitely has some routing that when it pays off in spades, and oftentimes this is part of that route. Especially since now that he has all that money, if I'm correct, he has not gone to Zora yet. He's going to find a couple of hard life lessons. Of course, if it's opposite day, it seems like he's going immediately up. Oh, we just got a map check, and I totally didn't see it.
I'll be curious to see if he save and quits after checking the pyramid item, or if he goes to catfish. He can do like all of that Zora domain in one go, which Xirtanul didn't get to do. So this play actually makes a lot more sense from Zaen, like not doing the full loop because he hasn't done Zora and he has the flippers and the mirror. So, and yeah, he is going to do that. So,
according to chat, red pendant and Ice Palace, blue pendant and Misery Mire, which means everything else is a crystal. Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods are apparently 5 and 6. That is rather interesting.
Well, so that means that these early flippers could be pretty good. There might be something in Swamp with this item set. If we're gonna go purely by like reading the logic, doing early Swamp could be really good. I don't know if I would gamble on that. Because without hook shot, I mean that's a huge waste of time.
It really would be without the hook shot. Doing that without the hook shot and not having any confirmation that you're going to be finding it inside of a swamp is one of the bigger gambles you can take. Because if you can go mode that dungeon versus taking that full clear, you are having a massive time difference.
I think if they find the lamp, that changes a little bit. That puts it back on logic with the flippers. And I think if the logic is yelling at you about something, you kind of should listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of listening, apparently I should have listened to my instincts. Zaen is actually doing the exact route I thought he was, where he's going and doing the dark world, going from the dark world into the light world, checking Hobo, then checking Catfish, and then immediately doing the entire Zora loop.
This made sense because he never had the money.
Playing the digging game.
He never had the money before, so.
And shout out to Sir Laffo for that sub. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Okay, this is a long digging game.
Oh, all for a red 20. I like that. With the shape he was going for, he could have made a sailboat.
To signify where Zaen is.
Meanwhile, Zaen going and finding out the scam artist is still once again in action, and Zora really doesn't have anything of value. Meanwhile, Xirtanul's going into the village of Outcasts. This is going to be an interesting time to see what else we can find. Apparently doing the digging game first, which is an interesting option, but nonetheless still technically viable. Although,
well, if you're doing that South South Dark Shore kind of game, I think it makes sense. I don't know. This is an interesting route so far.
It definitely is. It definitely looked like that was a gamble that was trying to pay off, but unfortunately wasn't. And we are now seeing what I like to call, however, technically is no longer version 26 most favored confirmation bias, check Skull Woods. Now, technically, there was something along the lines of previously in version 26, a 40-something percent chance? 45.
45% across 10,000 seeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always knew it was big, but that is significant. And even though that is decreased in version 27, that still is a possibility. Meanwhile, one of the first items is already there with a piece of heart.
I have no idea what Zaen is doing right now. Where is Zaen going?
Oh, Zane's going to the east side of the Death Mountain to be able to check the 7 chests in Paradox Cave. That makes sense all of a sudden.
Well, it's just you. Oh, what was that item? That was
I missed it, unfortunately. I don't think that was tempered.
It looked law, and maybe it was validation arrow. We'll see if chat memes about an arrow or not. Interesting. Doing this, but like, I don't know. I like to wait to like get Titans so that I can do like the darts mountain part too. But you know, maybe I should start doing this.
And with the book, we're going to get some confirmation very soon.
Oh,
I believe he found the second item. He is going to get that pedestal to confirm whether or not it's a pedestal seed. Chat, are you ready to see the fate of our runners today? We know it can't be the bow, it can't be the hammer, it can't be necessarily the ice rod or bombos. It could be one or the two, but not exactly both.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the bonk back into the dark world. Let's go.
Whoops. You can actually, this area is weird in that, like, all of those, like, grassy areas are, like,
also, I'm going to take a wild guess and guess it's the boots.
Ooh.
I can't, it's not the boots. Oh, no, it's a little piece of love. And I realized this, I said the boots. The boots were technically required for Desert Palace. So, suddenly, my call was...
Boots weren't.
Oh, it wasn't key locked? I totally thought it was key locked.
No, they have bit key.
Oh, my mistake.
Lemolus is the last item, so we need a fire source before we can get it.
Ah, I see. Yeah. My mistake.
Well, fire source is locked in behind a few chests in this seed.
And so far, Paradox Cave not really holding a heck of a lot. However, that was only 2 of 7 chests. It's time to find out. Xirtanul also not finding too much of interest.
Yeah, neither of these guys are finding something, but Xirtanul's got about the same amount of items to check here. There's about 7 possible items across like 13 chests in Village of Outcasts.
Oh, and there's the tempered sword.
Not
progression. Eat your vegetables, and I hope you like carrots, kids.
Not required though, so there's nothing else that he opened up.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything else he could necessarily open up at that point because he doesn't have, say...
Titans is the big one.
Yeah, or the patience to go all the way up and risk Spiral Cave.
He did Spiral Cave. He did Spiral Cave on the way down and then went back up.
Oh, and there is the bow, just as quickly as I am mistaken.
Okay, so that's big.
That is
a big
huge.
Deal. Pod and Eastern are both crystals and both completable, and they have the mirror, so I would be extremely shocked if their next destination... There's a Cane of Burna.
The Cane of Burna. Everyone say hi to the Cane of Brian. If you're a fan of typos. But nonetheless, this indeed does mean we are likely going to be seeing Thieves Town, then immediately both Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace. Because we have all the requirements, as you were saying, and 5 and 6. So Palace of Darkness will have number 5 out of the 2 crystals that we require to see what's in the Pyramid Fairy. However, may not necessarily be necessary, depending on what they find within. Meanwhile, Xirtanul's going through and checking a bunch of the chests, because guaranteed... Oh, and... Shoutouts to Phantom Ryu, because that's gotta be Kane! He does that infinitely better than me. Feel free to check out the VOD sometime. And with the Master Key also found, it is time to go through the rest of the dungeon. So far, we are seeing the slow crawl through Palace of Darkness, or sorry, Thieves Town. Palace of Darkness? Hello? Totally different. Anyways, but nonetheless, similar to Palace of Darkness, both of these without either the boots or the mirror, in this case it's the boots, can be quite the slow trek.
Yeah, the dungeons also, like this hallway in particular, can be a bit punishing. The movement is... Every enemy there, like, is completely random. The fire bar is mostly random.
The anti-fairies are just obnoxious to begin with, never mind whether they're random or not.
Yeah,
it makes no surprise to me that people would often call that the Hellway, because it does totally make sense.
Also, if you make if you do a spin at the wrong spot in there, you delete all of the sprites in the dungeon and make it completely unfinishable. So that's a thing that happens. For those who don't know, it is called. There's a major glitch called the quadrant glitch that basically removes all the sprites if Link spins and crosses a quadrant, which is like how the game kind of treats like areas. So that is the easiest place to trigger it, but it is the least useful.
Least useful indeed, but nonetheless always fun to watch. Speaking of fun to watch, there we have. Wow,
this is loaded. This is loaded. Loaded village.
I feel like somewhere on the internet, Jet happened to look at Twitch and go, "Yeah, it's going to be a good day today."
I still hold we call it Jet Seas because Jets go zoom.
Oh, that is a good point. For anyone not familiar, a member of the community, Jet, is known to have the extremely incredible luck of always getting super quick seeds to compete against. And we have since then liked to call it jet seeds. Don't worry, we're not talking about actual rockets, although that would be cool to have in this game. Meanwhile, Xirtanul going and taking care of Blind, while Zaen is now just entering. It's like the opposite day version of an interdimensional high five at that point.
Okay, so some people in chat are confused about not picking up that chest at the Maiden. You count it as items. We have all of the items from the dungeon. There's just a map and a compass and a small T. So that small T would be completely useless lead into a map or a compass.
Yep, because dungeon items, would have been the map. Despite the fact that dungeon items are something you can pick up in chests, if you do not have to pick them up, it is definitely much wiser to go and forego that chest. Meanwhile, Zaen getting the big red cane, and Xirtanul going and getting the golden glove, the Titan's mitts. This is going to be one amazing experience, because at this point, this could lead to several places. Now, granted, we don't have the hookshot or the boot, so it doesn't really lead to Misery Mire, but it does lead to one of our favorite NPCs. I like to call him Senior Frog, the blacksmith, aka the breadsmith, aka whatever his name is in the actual game, one of the dwarven blacksmiths, or swordsmiths. You can go and bring him back into the light world and get an item from him and his brother, or you can delay that by taking the hammer and having a slow dance in the pale moonlight, hammering each one of those pegs in the yard, and picking up an interesting or perhaps not so interesting item. Meanwhile, Zaen going using the safe strat, not worrying about having to not get hit by the spikes, and we have the red mail.
Man, that would have been useful like a few seconds ago.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're going to have some easy boss fights on this seed. Like, once you have red mail and this much HP, man, I am not an unhappy player. Well, until I decide to skip, like, I don't know, one item somewhere, and it ends up being the one item you need. Turn in half an hour seeds into hundo. Oh!
Well then.
So everything's back on sequence. I don't know. I'm starting to, with what they have right now, I think that Swamp Palace might have something. I'm gonna make the prediction.
All right. What's your witchcraft going to be this time? Let's go.
I think we're gonna find boots in. We're gonna find boots in swamp, which will lead to Bombos. Obviously, we already know that. Which is gonna lead us to, our go mode, which will be hookshot.
Ooh. I like that.
And then we'll find think we'll find Fire Rod there too somewhere. But I think that we're gonna find either Fire Rod or Hoodshot via Bombos in Ice Palace.
All right, Xirtan Zaen, I'm sorry if this happens. I'm going to hypothesize Fire Rod is going to be a Pyramid. Or no, sorry, Fire Rod's going to be... It can't be a Pyramid Fairy because you need it for Skull Woods. So I'm going to say Hookshot will be an Ice Palace. Bombos will be before Ice Palace, and possibly Fire Rod as well.
Well, we know where Bombos is.
Oh, we do? My mistake.
Yeah, it's an item location we can't get to right now.
Oh, okay. Was it perhaps before I ended up swinging in that we discovered it? Am I oblivious? Okay, well, everyone remember, ADH.
Desert, right, Desert Torch, Desert Torch, that's it. Thank you, chat. That's
remember, everybody, don't neglect the concept of ADHD. It is absolutely a thing. And over in the Bombos tablet, we have bombs. Kind of ironic.
Yeah, pretty much similar. Make things go triple boom, make everything go boom. Same thing.
It's like the Walmart brand equivalent of Bombos.
I guess we do have like 2 other dungeons we can complete right now. Well, we have Pod, which we can full clear. So this is definitely the correct play before Swamp, but I still think there's going to be something in Swamp. I'm going to say double dip Swamp. I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a double dip Swamp, but I'll be pleasantly surprised otherwise.
I would actually argue that Magic Powder might have something to play in there. We might eventually see the Batman.
Maybe. And now that they've done the things that they've already done, that would be unfortunate. That would be a large waste of time.
Absolutely.
Have to do, but hey, same with checking all these fire spots.
And now we are experiencing Hyrule's Dark World's worst delivery service, Kiki the Monkey, going and opening up the Palace of Darkness. Fun imaginary fact, the statues are supposed to be of Kiki, except they are just exaggerated greatly to tell greater tales than the existence of that... That's a monkey, not a gorilla. Never mind. And now that we've gotten through the very... Oh, and there is the lamp. I know we saw it earlier, I just get easily excited. Coffee's a wonderful thing. Meanwhile... Looks like Xirtanul is actually going the long route after not only finding the bow, but having a key in hand. Not a bad thing, now that you think about it, because you can get that area done and out of the way, immediately mirror out, and that does make the slow trek of Palace of Darkness instantly quicker. Meanwhile, we're now seeing the Mimic Room, the reason you need the bow to properly full clear this dungeon. And Zaen is going to be finding out what is in the lunchbox today. Everyone calls him Gary, but there's apparently an old man Gary already in the mountain, according to the credits, so I like to call this guy, different names each time. This time he's Jenkins. Oh, Jenkins had a very spicy lunch today. 3 bombs. And Xirtanul picking up yet another key, as our friend and commentator Dr. Bob Tastic likes to call this place the Mullet Mansion, because due to the concept of the logic, Palace of Darkness often has many keys in the front, and all of the items you may be looking for in the back. Therefore, he calls it party in the front, or business in the front, party in the back, and the Mullet Mansion. However, as we know, that is still something that is not always necessarily possible. Also, I did totally cut you off. I apologize. Do go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. No. Well, it's not really like that anymore. The logic's fairly different, and it's changed even more so in the newest. Well, the hot fix was put out. So this seed, in theory, could still soft lock. And it can't because they have the bow already. But if we didn't have the bow, there was still that soft lock possibility. But the logic is changed as of when they released the special seed, festive seed.
Yes, that was a fun time.
So all current seeds that you generate can't soft lock unless something else appeared. Barring something that's completely unknown.
As far as we know, TM.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Zane's going to check old Stumpy, and Xirtanul's going through the bridge. Throwing a bomb, not doing the bomb jump as we were half expecting. Making sure to open up the big chest, though, so you don't have to worry about spending time later. Going through the room with turtles, surprisingly in an area that's not Turtle Rock, and heading immediately into the basement, getting some money on the way to 2 more chests. And we have the big key that's going to be great for when you want to go inside the other area, and the second key, and it's a small key this time, rather. So after checking what's going to be in the possibly 3, at least 2 chests, we're going to see how quickly Xirtanul can go and take care of King Helmasaur. Chances are pretty quickly.
So interesting fact. I didn't see what. Oh, it was wave. Oh, what is Xirtanul went in and he did like Meyer as like a jam. Or sorry, Zaen did Meyer as a gamble.
Zaen cannot currently do Meyer as a gamble because he doesn't have the boots or the hook shot.
Oh right. I always forget about that because that's like you're never here without either of those things.
I've made that mistake several times, but unlike commentary, I made it during when I was playing, so I assure you I know that feeling.
I don't think I've ever entered there without the means to jump over there, except for entrance, but I mean, you'll just stumble upon Meyer by accident, so.
Entrance is its own beautiful beast.
Oh, look, I've entered the race game hut. Oh, look, I'm actually in Meyer. Huh.
Meanwhile, Zaen, following Xirtanul's footsteps, immediately heading into the Dark World.
Zane's done a lot more overworld here, so...
He definitely has.
Looks to be deceiving based on the sea, although we haven't found anything here, I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah, no,
there's been nothing in pod, so...
Value.
Swamp is still looking like it was the correct play. Although I don't think going to Swamp first was right. So. Probably
not, but if I'm correct, the last thing they have available to them at King Helmasaur is the compass, is it not?
I think so. It looked like it based on the inventory.
I saw the map. We obviously have the big key.
Possibly then. Yeah, so there's not... So it looks like Swamp is on the table.
It looks like Swamp is on the table. It looks like Eastern Palace. Well, we already have the items in there. So at that point, what can you really do? Except open up a dungeon that you can't access.
Yeah, chat bringing up that the bottle is actually...
Oh, wait a minute.
The only bottle we know of is on Hylia Island.
And on top of that, let's not forget, they now have the Titan's Mitts. They can go to Death Mountain Dark World.
Oh, I wouldn't go to Death Mountain Dark World without Shot or Fire Rod, because then if you get Fire Rod, you do Turtle Rock.
It is indeed a risk. It is indeed a risk. You are correct. However, if Swamp Palace doesn't pay out, we might be seeing an early visit to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Swamp Palace. Yeah, Palace doesn't pay out. We're going straight to Turtle Rock.
I would not. In any logical routing decision, going to Turtle Rock right now would be the most extreme gamble you can make.
I've seen a progression at that one chest like too many
times.
Yeah. So
Same here.
If I was in Zane's position, a game behind, I might do it, just because I'm like looking to get that piece.
Yeah,
but Swamp is gonna feel the same way. Both Swamp and this are gonna feel equally awful. It's about the same items too. On average, because you're gonna get 3 items: the 2 in the Super Bunny chest, the one or more in Total Rock. So like you're gambling about the same amount of items because you're looking at about an average of 3 items in Swamp. Like not counting one of the chests is always small T. Then there's 3 other chests that could open up to be more. So it's rough.
It's
I don't know
going
what to do now.
And now we're going to find out what Xirtanul's going to be doing next, considering, obviously it's Eastern Path. Yeah,
you got.
I got a little excited and ahead of myself on that one. However, it is going to be the question after he decides to take care of Eastern Palace. Also, by the way, apparently I counted wrong. We must have saw all 3 because he picked up half magic.
Oh yeah, okay, that's awesome.
Absolutely. You never look that take that gift and just throw it aside. Half magic, especially this early, is absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah, and so people are confused about secondary. Secondary tournament was essentially there was qualifiers for the primary tournament, and then after those qualifiers, anybody who did not make it or didn't bother to qualify, in the case of a few people like Stooge and a few other runners, they signed up to play in the secondary tournament, which ended up being about 130 people, around 30 groups of 5, I think it was. Oh no, that's a lot more than that. I can't remember how many people. There's a lot.
I remember seeing the equivalent to double digits with alphabet going up to AL.
Was it AL? Wow.
Or AG or something like that. It was significantly high.
And so they played. People played. We nobody actually expected anything to get restreamed, but thanks to many people.
Ooh, a very clean marble room. The Marble Madness room, as I like to call it. Xirtanul just going in and stepping through with ease, also taking care of the following 2 mimic rooms without a single hitch. Wow, that was borderline surgical how clean that was. Meanwhile, looks like he's setting up for the quick kill, as anyone should be doing with, especially with normal arrows. We get the Eastern Palace Burrito and the crystal. We have crystal number 5. We now need a fire rod to get to at least 2 dungeons, either the hookshot or the boots for at least 1 dungeon. And the only other area that's technically accessible despite being roundabout is Turtle Rock or Swamp Palace. Good luck to... Oh, whoa, Xirtanul making the play, going immediately to Turtle Rock instead. Oh wait, actually, hold on. He has the blue cane. He could be going to Spike Cave instead.
Fire could be nice, but we don't have access to Bombos yet, so...
Yep. Technically, with both of those not around, you hypothetically can't count Ice Palace as something they can access, because you need one or the other. So at this point, Xirtanul could be making the play of Spike Cave, or he could be going full YOLO mode and going right over to Turtle Rock.
I don't even know if that's YOLO. I think, again, it's the same idea. It's 3 items, guaranteed. You're going to see 3 chests. It's the same like Swamp. Swamp only has 3 items that you can look at. 4, I think, actually.
I just realized Xirtanul also just skipped over Tower of Hera. But he now has the lamp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but Xirtanul also never checked Eastern Side Light World Death Mountain, which he might be considering doing.
Well, he has the mirror, so he's gonna... If he can
he's definitely gonna open up Turtle Rock.
If he can open up Turtle Rock, I'd be surprised if he doesn't go in.
That's another factor. If he opens up Turtle Rock, it could be very much likely that this was the plan you needed to go through. And we are now getting a moment of truth. Oh, it is indeed.
Oh, we're going in there. I don't see him not.
It's time for us to go down to Turtle Rock. Down to Turtle Rock. And now that it is opened, the gamble is
he's not going in. He's not going in. No.
Oh, there we go. He's going to check out the rest of the area because he can easily check East. He can check Super Bunny Cave. He can check. He can check Paradox Cave. He can check Spiral Cave. He can do all those. Yep, it looks like he's just biting the bullet and flipping the coin, and that coin said, go to Turtle Rock instead. That moment when you accidentally rhyme. Meanwhile, Zaen making very quick work out of King Helmasaur as expected. Getting his half magic, getting Crystal 5.
So we know Xirtanul's not going to find anything in Light World. He'll get the Temper Sword.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Although, to be fair, if Zaen makes the following play, that does mean he would not have necessarily caught up with the difference in slashes required by the sword.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, looks like we're seeing Zaen going and finishing up Eastern Palace as expected, and Xirtanul's going to be very disappointed with the mediocre items. Hooray, you got both of those upgraded by 5.
There's so many things that they can do. Oh, it's a weird seed.
This is definitely a weird crossroads that they've made, or they've come across. Because they had so much, and now it's starting to dwindle down. But they're being led on, and that really does say it's in 2 places, because no matter where they go, they are missing a key item to get a clear out of that dungeon. In the case of Swamp, they need the hook shot. In the case of Turtle Rock, they need the fire rod. So unless something happens to have something, wow, great statement. Unless we have a progression item in Turtle Rock or in Mimic Cave, we might be seeing a little bit of frustration coming from both of these runners. For their sakes, I hope there is at least something by the time they get to Laser Bridge. Chances are it'll probably be the hook shot on Laser Bridge. I've definitely seen that several times. I'm simply hoping that they don't have to worry about finding Fire Rod to then do, oh no. By the logic, hookshot could be behind Trinex. That is the least on anyone's list of what they could be wanting for the rest of this seed. Meanwhile, Zaen taking quick work, Xirtanul going through, and obviously going to be taking the left to get that one chest, seeing what they can find. Here's hoping we have a merciful Turtle Rock that says, just kidding, go finish Swamp. Oh no, but we do have the swag net, so at least we can beat Ganon.
Well, Swamp is the only play.
How's that the only play? He could go to the other 2. Oh, he doesn't have the fire rod.
No, he
never.
Yeah. Well, Hera Basement and Lamolus are like other small plays, but he'd probably want to draw Lamolus if he has boots. Although, boots could be on Lamolus, which would be hilarious.
That would be. So, let's go find out what's in Hera's basement.
Hera Basement is a play, but it is a slow play.
Slow
very
indeed.
Slow play.
I like to call that specific area, because of the fact that you can manipulate your spacing, the AFK room, because you can literally set it up to where the switch goes on under your feet, and you can kick back, put your hands behind your head, put your feet up on the desk, maybe drink some tea, maybe go watch a book. That's right, watch a book, or you could read the book if you want to not get spoiled on the internet. Meanwhile, Zaen is heading over to the Dark World, going to be going to the Bombos tablet, going to be very disappointed at the Kmart equivalent of the Bombos tablet. And I hope you're all counting the tiles. Hashtag tile conspiracy. Missing the beam to stop that tile in its tracks. However, now we are going to be seeing what is the last item that was in Tower of Hera. Survey says, oh no, it's a piece of heart.
Spike Cave? Yeah, Fluter's gonna do Spike Cave.
Spike Cave's the only thing that he has left on Death Mountain that he could worry about.
And he did go to Dark World, so bunt onto Ganon's Tower.
Oof.
Fun fact, it is extremely easy to mirror into Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, you wouldn't have ever guessed. However, surprise. Why has no one ever done that in the routing logic?
Actually, there is. It's called Overworld Glitches. Entire logic based around that idea.
You're right. That is actually a very good point. Meanwhile, Zaen going and picking up the first bottle, going to grab some Kool-Aid off of the island, heading immediately over to Sick Cave with very little options left. He really doesn't want to go into Turtle Rock.
Oh, Spike Cave wasn't the answer.
Oh, that was a bust. Death Mountain Disappoint Mountain, apparently. Oh, and Sick Kid just gave you his lunch money.
No, they can do the green pendant, and they can do Lemos. Lemos actually has his own item, plus the green pendant, but I think that Swamp is the better, because it's like, Swamp is a crystal, so if you get hook shot...
You know, from process of elimination so far, Zane's going to find out the hard way that, yeah, Swamp is a more likely play.
Mm-hmm. But Swamp is a play that most runners do not like, and yeah, I like some weird plays. I do not like Swamp. Where are we going?
We're Xirtanul heading... Did Xirtanul ever check?
Oh!
No, Xirtanul checked the shovel, didn't he?
No, he's grabbing the potion. You remember the potion now.
Oh, okay, that does make sense. Xirtanul going and looking for some form of hearts before heading into Spike Cave.
Oh, Zaen got burned by Swamp last game. Ooh.
Oh, that's some disrespect.
I did not. Yeah, I did not actually catch the whole of last game. Shut up around an hour 20. So I was working until then.
I totally lost track of time and thought it was the 28th. So, oops. Xirtanul also bullying a Sick Kid for his lunch money. And with a couple of frustration slashes, it looks like he's heading immediately over to Desert. Certainly not a bad choice at this point. I have noticed that version 27 definitely has had several times where the bosses end up being required to be beaten for one reason or another. Usually, in this case, there's an item behind a boss at a pendant dungeon.
Oh wait, wow, they really don't want to do this dungeon.
No, they don't.
He's gonna do desert. He's gonna do green pendant desert before he does Swamp Palace. Jeez.
That is...
Maybe. He might. I don't know yet. It's looking that way, though.
Oh, and even before then, he's checking checkerboard. My. You can tell these runners are desperate for not having to drive that much time away from their efforts.
This is obsessive, though.
Oh, yeah. This is some heavy stuff. And it looks like into Swamp Xirtanul goes.
He wasn't going to Desert. Okay, thank goodness.
And Zaen now taking a moment to kick back, read War and Peace, maybe going and finishing the entire Harry Potter series forwards and backwards, and then conducting a quiz online about it, because that's totally what you do, right?
Mm-hmm. I usually just run a round of Duel Links. I don't know how you guys fit in all this reading.
I just read books. I'd rather learn Japanese, though. Anyways, now that we have the AFK room taken care of and Xirtanul's...
Oh no!
Oh no! What is this?
It's what? Oh!
The odds of that happening are so absurdly low.
The odds, it's 100% that he just like positioned himself slightly wrong. Oh no!
What?
Just Feasel with a simple no.
Can I humbly request everyone in chat give me their own equivalent of not like this?
Yes, please. I want to see the chat just be.
Even though we have to remain unbiased, I have to at least respect our moment of, oh, well, they're not a fallen comrade, they're quite standing and currently fighting these tiles angrily. But,
he's like, no, I'm not going to take the rest.
Yeah, no, I would not risk that either at that point. That is just oof. That is the personification of the word oof.
There's a lot of not like this emotes. Jeez.
Yeah, there are. Me too.
Oh, that was... Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time, man.
Me either. Oh, and just to get the heart piece, ouch. It hurts you right in the core.
That's tilting. I really hope
tilting. I'm pretty sure that is a 360 no scope on a table.
Oh.
at this point, I wonder if he realizes
Oh.
how much of... Oh!
Bin dots he might have been able to, but I think it would have bounced off the wall and, like, gone too far. He was pretty close to the wall. I don't know, though. Maybe. That might have been a solution. But that's Tilton, like I said. You're not in the right set of mind when that happens to you. We're not finding anything yet in Swamp, so this is
As trolls on the internet know, frustration will lead you to constant lacks of judgment, not being able to process or execute things appropriately, which is why it is always so effective for people to be toxic in various games. Although I highly discourage that from anything like this, because let's be real, we're all in this for fun.
There ain't even prizes. We're just here to chill.
Exactly.
Here to chill, show off a game that we all love.
Exactly. But having that level of tilt will undoubtedly hamper your progress. Oh, as we are seeing poor Zaen dealing with a mistake I make way too often for someone that doesn't get as tilted on that situation. Meanwhile, Xirtanul going and taking care of... Well, fortunately, they at least didn't flood that key. And it seems in this case, Zaen is heading immediately over to take care of Lamola.
This makes sense. Again, it's 2 items, so you really want to avoid the swamp play. Xirtanul is invested in about 5 minutes just to get these 2 items at the back here. It feels like that. It's at least 3 or 4. If you count getting in here. Oh.
It always is a gamble, especially when you're in any race where time is limited.
Yeah, people are saying if fire's here, this is fire, rod, or boots are here. This will be a required double dip.
And that could make a huge difference between Xirtanul and Zaen right now. Because Xirtanul did go through Turtle Rock. He did open up Turtle Rock. He did confirm there was nothing he could get right now.
Okay, so we're at a big moment of truth. Lamola to drop something. This item just here could be something. Green pendant could be something.
There is a boatload of crossing fingers on one side and crossing fingers for the complete opposite reason on the other.
Swamp is nothing!
Oh no, Swamp does have nothing after all. Green pendant is likely the play. I can't actually believe that is becoming the thing right now. How is this happening? We were expecting a Jet Seed, but apparently it was Dio all along. Jokes from the internet aside, this is absolutely a ridiculous turn of events.
There's a lot of dipping required.
Oh! No, it's the hook shot! Of all the things they could be finding right now, it is in fact the hook shot. The play was to go to desert first before going into swamp.
Oh no.
This is a massive turn of the tables. Zaen heading right over into Swamp Palace after this. If he doesn't, that is going to be a whole lot of shenanigans. Meanwhile, despite his level of tilt, he does not realize how in fact lucky he is to have gone there first. Xirtanul going and checking. Wait, what was that? Must have been a big 20. Must have been a big 20 on the pyramid. Never mind. I thought we were going
it was definitely not useful.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I thought we were having a massive amount of hype on that moment. I was ready for my voice to get cracking and sound like I turned 13 all over again.
Shot K is the play, but Swamp is now the good play because this is a. Yeah. Oh no.
So green pendant required. Hey, remember how I was talking about this seems to have a thing for making pendant bosses required for an item?
Well, it's at the logic now equally. Like, I like to think of just every chest in the game as just a chest. Just don't think of things as small keys, as compasses or maps or dead items. It's just like if you think of small keys as like somewhat useful items, or you think of what's it called? If you think of like a compass as a 20 or a map as a 5, it's all the same. You find 20s in Hype Cave doesn't mean that you don't go to Hype Cave. You still have to check it.
Oh, of course.
But people find a compass in Skull Woods, and it's like I don't want to check Skull Woods anymore. That's how I like to think about the seed. Now I'm not very good, but at least that's the logic I have. I might not be good, but I like to think about these things.
I like to see this randomizer as, if I don't do it, I'm going to regret it later. If I do it, I still might regret it later. You know what? Let's go. Millennial humor. I know that just totally only made sense to me, but I was basically talking about the fact that no matter what you do, you have a chance of it only making you feel like you're regretting something. You might as well do it to make sure, on the bright side, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, now we're just getting a few checks here and there, checking some things that maybe were left. Xirtanul is now, it's now avoiding desert, like, a little bit too much. I mean, that is 2 items. But a lot of people don't like pendants.
Meanwhile, we're now checking the cave behind the grave, also known to some people as Skyloft. An interesting rebranding on that cave. Oh, that would have been so crazy if that had something else. Like if that had been Fire Rod all along. And if I'm correct, you do require the boots to open up King's Tomb, not in the conventional sense, but even to do the trick where you're charging up for a spin slash and then press A to dash and it opens it up as it is. So Xirtanul couldn't even checked King's Tomb at this point, even if he wanted to. And now he's going to immediately find out where Hookshot was this whole time. Zaen doing the thing he doesn't realize is a valuable thing and skipping left side. Silver arrows have been found. We are not going to be seeing necessarily a silverless Ganon fight tonight.
Okay, so it looks like Swamp might be a bust.
Swamp had at least silver arrows, so it didn't have anything in progression, but at least had the vanity item.
But it had silver arrows in a spot that these runners might have got checked anyway.
Yeah.
So, like if you're looking for if you're in go mode and you don't have silvers, it is worth the time to check that bottom chest. I believe. I think it's like you can spend like upwards of like 30 or 40 seconds getting silvers, and it's still worth it.
Yeah, easily. Now, my question is, do they check Sahasrara? Shoutouts to anyone that actually gets that name right. Because if they do end up checking it because they, after all, ended up getting the green pendant anyways, does Sahasrara, because it was required for the logic, also have another item required for the logic? Meanwhile, the Bloomerang has been found in the appropriately colored Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was. Props on you. I was like, that's blue, and so is everything else here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I had to double check that real quick.
Including Zaen, who opted not to pick up the red mail. Or was it Xirtanul did pick up red mail?
No, I think Zaen hasn't picked up red mail.
Zaen opted not to. He saw it and skipped it. Probably because he already had the tempered sword. Xirtanul's going to swamp, so they're going to both devote the same amount of time into the dungeon.
Yep.
Wait, why is Zaen? Oh, Zaen did left side for. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's going back to double check it.
I didn't realize he didn't do left side. This is a lot closer than it looks.
It is.
Yeah, some of chat was doing GG when Zaen found that hook shot, but
yeah, no.
It all depended on if progression was in swamp.
Calling GG right now would have totally been foolhardy. You have to remember, sure, that does look far ahead, but both of these runners are solid with their execution, and all it takes is one bit of luck to turn this all around all over again. Everyone calling GG instantly forgot that before this, Zaen was minutes behind. And then suddenly that turned around. That can, once again, happen. Let's hope for both of their runners' sake that it might or might not happen. Now that I politicianed my way out of that statement, it seems like Zaen remembered to not flood the dungeon, which is definitely good. And Xirtanul has finally made his way into Swamp for taking down Argus. Unfortunately, go moding Swamp no longer the dream.
So now we're at a point where we're just kind of seeing both runners do the same thing. So I guess now might be a good time to say, everyone, that there is other tournaments coming. You can see in the bottom all the different tournaments that are starting up in the near future. If you're into Zelda, the Key Sanity tournament is going to start at the end of January. We'll go on for about a month and a bit. Well, it'll have a very strict timeline, actually, the way that it's structured. So it's going to be a very quick tournament. There's also a No Major Glitches Zelda 3 tournament. What that means is that all the same tricks and stuff that you see in the randomizer are going to be utilized and used throughout the run. The only difference is it's the base game itself.
I was going to say, now to clarify, we are talking about vanilla.
Yep. So the game will be unrandomized. You're going to see some of the best Zelda players ever play this fantastic game, and then some new players as well. It is capped at 126. Sign-ups are will be basically first come, first serve. If you don't have a PB posted by March 18th, then they have the right to reserve to kick you and add somebody from the wait-in list.
Fortunately for Xirtanul also found the green, the silver arrows. Unfortunately, Zaen, as you were about to say, found 300 rupees. A little late on that one, unfortunately.
Shot Cave, though, is where we're gonna head.
Yup. It looks like Turtle Rock would have been, well, can't even be next because they still don't have the fire rod.
Yeah, let's look at what we're looking for. Is that fire rod for Go Mode? Oh, and I guess. Well, no, we don't need.
Yeah, all we really need right now is fire rod in all technicality before this becomes a bootless seed.
Yeah, as long as we find fire rod, it's Go Mode. If we find boots, that's a little harsh. It might not be useless medallion. That almost might be required for ice. It really will depend. Oh, this seed is weird but cool.
Yeah,
it's not even Trolley. This is still a pretty fast seed. These runners just kind of the route in, like not the bid sim was Easter.
This is one of those cases that even some of the more stronger of us that have great execution and routing can sometimes, due to their own disinterest of a section, just make the wrong decisions. It happens to a lot of us. Some of us really want to avoid going to here or there, and then it turns out they had to all along for a completely different reason.
Zaen is going to Hutshot Cave, not Turtle Rock. He already knows that Turtle Rock is bust.
Yes. And first thing we have is the fire rod.
We're in Go Mode. What are you doing, Zaen?
We have Go Mode.
We're in Go Mode, guys, and we have Xirtanul right behind him. Oh my goodness. What is he looking for? I'm confused.
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone that calls himself non-binary and people that ironically call themselves attack helicopters, we have entered Go Mode. It is now going to be a question of how quickly we're going to see Turtle Rock get cleared by Zaen. Turtle Rock surprisingly actually taking just as long as full clear Turtle Rock, but nonetheless, it is now Go Mode Turtle Rock. Zaen opening up Turtle Rock, Xirtanul having the slight advantage of already opening up Turtle Rock. This, if Xirtanul immediately leaves and ignores the other chest like he just may, means that from Turtle Rock onward, we have a race that is closer than it ever has been. Everyone's saying FOMO mode, but in all reality, there's not anything else that they are missing. They have everything they technically need to defeat Ganon at this point. Unless, oh, hold on, don't get ahead of me, chat. Unless Bob's Torch ends up having the big key. If Bob's Torch has the big key, we are now on the race for the boots.
Oh, was I muted? Oh, I don't know if I was.
You were. I did not hear a single thing.
Well, yeah, I was actually about to add, unless the boots are there. Although, why are both these runners doing Turtle Rock right now, and not Ice first?
Ice is a pendant.
Oh, wow, we only have this and Skull, though.
Oh, right, Skull Woods is next. After all of this, oof.
Is it faster to do this? I don't actually know, because I know it's faster usually to leave Turtle Rock for last, but maybe not in this case.
I think in this case, Turtle Rock for last would have been the play.
I think it's always the play if you can't. I don't know.
I would argue almost always, because if you can leave Tower of Hera for last, if you have the opportunity, would be the quicker play than Turtle Rock. However, that is also far less likely.
I've been running into coffin fits, so I guess I forgot one time to unmute my mic.
It's all good. Normally it's me on the other side, so I definitely understand and empathize. Meanwhile, both runners doing the closest they can to what I like to call the Christos Olay attack of Destiny, where they use the dash to take the Cane of Samaria block and just essentially kick it like a FIFA player all the way to the end to make sure it hits both crystals at different times so you can get onto the block, not get hit by the worst cameo job in The Legend of Zelda, and then also, you know, push the switch, pick up the chest item, do the thing, score the points.
Mm-hmm. Now, hopefully we won't see one of these runners forget a key, like
that would be
match.
Bad. Ooh, ouch.
I definitely caught that part. That was unfortunate. No real way to predict that. That just seemed like it was a gamble. Well, it looks like it's Vanilla Bit Key.
And apparently Vivi, when hit with a bunny beam, turns into the cat from Chrono Trigger.
That is cute. Actually, I did like that.
That is adorable. Would have been more suitable on the frog sprite.
Or on the Chrono sprite that somebody will hopefully make one day.
Oh, the dream. Meanwhile, skipping over Mimic Cave, heading immediately into the big chest, going through getting a small key to make sure that they don't get locked right up here.
Yeah, they do have to get that key.
What if after all of this, the boots happen to be required and in Mimic Cave?
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
That would be super unfortunate.
Yeah, the boots being required is going to be... Oh my.
Highly unlikely, but definitely trolling.
It's 4.5%, and we saw a match get decided by that earlier. Oh, and neither of them checked.
Nope, neither of them checked indeed.
I was wondering if Xirtanul would, but oh, they're gonna risk it. It's the correct risk.
It is truly the correct risk to take. It's kind of like those chances that are, you know, a 75% chance of everything going fine, yeah, and then you just hit that little slight chance right under that 75%, and you end up getting totally sidetracked, or otherwise something gets ruined. Super unfortunate, very unlikely, but nonetheless miserable. Oh, and a laser takes down Zaen, but fortunately he did pick up the key, so he is on his way to the one and only, the Lag Master itself, Trinex, everyone's favorite Link to the Past streamer, Kappa.
Yeah, so this fight with their current equipment is going to be extremely easy. It's just this boss is kind of trivialized by what they have here. Although his health right now is not super safe. I want to be careful.
No, it's definitely a bit of a risk, to say the least. Meanwhile, going and using the safe menuing technique, because you cannot change in the middle of a death animation, and Zaen making sure to prevent the lag from spilling all over the floor in the form of ice. Meanwhile, Trinex going into its snake form.
This is a rough spot for Trinex to be in. He's right close to the wall. But he does always follow like that same start where he'll go against both walls and then kind of loop. And then start his weird snaky way. Forgetting that the item doesn't spawn under Trinex's head. The reason for that is because otherwise Trinex's head would could be over spikes or actually be out of bounds, and then the game would soft lock. That's why this is the only dungeon that does that.
Xirtanul also making quick work of both necks on Trinex. Oh, almost getting that last shot in. Zaen making his way out of Turtle Rock and making his way downtown, moving fast. Birds fly past as he's Skullwoods bound. Xirtanul making ever so quick work of the third stage, making up for that little bit of time lost in comparison with the second stage. And picking up his own copy of the next shield after the Fisher-Price My First Shield. And into Skullwoods Zaen goes. Unfortunately for Xirtanul, going through Skullwoods earlier was unfortunately not that much of any use.
Well, Chansey already has a key, which is useful. Does it mean you don't have to fight a Gibdo?
True.
Only upside, but I don't remember if he does, so.
According to people in chat, there's an approximately 43-second difference between these runners, just to give you a reference as to how truly close this is.
Yeah, and with that difference, we are looking at even just like the route choice in GT mattering.
It could come down to one slight mistake in execution at any point between now and the rest of the game for this to go to be not only one person's, but literally anybody's match.
Now, Zaen, if he wins this, we do get Game 3. If he does not, he got the other torch glitch.
Oh,
I don't remember how that one works, but yeah, it's just a graphical glitch, yeah.
Admittedly, it's the first time I've ever seen that glitch.
I've seen it once other time, and I saw it in Ganon's tower where the torch for the torch glitch didn't get lit, but like it was lit. It was very odd. So he pulled off both torch glitches. Very odd.
That is very unusual. Wow, Zaen making an absurdly quick work out of Mothula.
Yeah, another boss trivialized by the equipment they have. So much health means you can just kind of follow Mothula around the room, which is a good strategy for Mothula if you have a lot of health. Just follow him around the room and just slash at him.
Ooh, as someone who's, much like anyone, experienced nothing but misery coming against Mothula, it's always very nice to see people make that boss into absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Xirtanul going and making hopefully quick work as well. Let's see if he can keep up the pace.
With Zaen, though, finishing that, we have the big key guess again. This is going to be the last one for the secondary tournament. And with this, you guess the number between 1 and 22. If you're the first support donator or bid donator Patreon person, you are in a list of people who can win. bot will shout you out, you'll get put in a leaderboard, etc., etc. It's based on the numbers of chests that can contain the Ganon's Tower bid key. So, this will be determined by the runners themselves. If one runner goes one way and they find it on number 17, but the other runner finds it on number 5, their route, well, it'll be number 5. Tough luck. For those who guess 17.
And for me, I'm going to just humbly guess approximately number 14, but specifically in the case of a location, I'm looking into Bob's chest.
I'm always saying 1 or 22 because those are the ones that equalize the route-in choices, and it's more about execution than route-in than making a guess in Ganon's Tower.
That is a valid point.
And Xirtanul is not far behind. He is doing...
Oh, absolutely not. Didn't make as much of a quick work of Mothula as you would hope, but nonetheless still making absolutely quick work.
It wasn't that trolly. It was just one thin. I think it was 2 thins. It was that Eastern. Heaven Hammer and Eastern was trolly for these runners in particular, and them opted not to go there because their flute did lead them astray for a while. Just a lot of places they didn't have to. Made them do a few thins twice.
And with that, it looks like we are no longer taking guesses. And let's find out. Zaen going and taking the right side first, getting the 2 chests before immediately mirroring out, unless he decides to go a little extra sassy today. We got 50 rupees. Hey. Number 2, we have a small key. Is he going? He is going for the right side gamble.
Well, this isn't a gamble. Right side was a gamble way back in the day because the tower was biased towards the left side path, just the way that the logic was programmed back in V18. Thus, the name sticks. It is not a gamble though anymore. It's just a different route. Each route has an advantage. Right side, you actually get to check. You check these chests significantly faster than if you check left side, but it loses time. Like if it's in Rando Room or beyond, or if it's in Rando Room or the room after Stalfos. Left side checks all things equally, and it's about even with all of the other routes you can take. And the Dark Magician route is about hitting like chess ASAP. You hit exactly a bunch of, and they're taking the same route.
Oh, we got more bombs.
Big key is the right side.
Number 4. What was that? Number 4? That was 1, 2, 3, 4. That had to be number 4.
Yeah.
Big key in number 4 of all the things. Meanwhile, Zaen immediately mirroring out. And the correct answer comes from the first summer supporter to correctly guess, and that is, according to Speed Gaming's bot, Habinator, congratulations on that guess.
Xirtanul is not far behind. Why are you guys checking these extra chests? I'm so mad at you right now.
Because safety powder.
I guess they want the key, but...
Yeah, looking for an extra key.
So they check left side, you can just get that key.
That is true. You could just get that key.
I don't know. It's fine. Good thing that they didn't forget about the key. Look, that key, I forget about it all the time. I mean... Okay, yeah, I forget about it all the time. I should stop forgetting about small keys. Look, us as commentators, we hype up the big key so much that new players forget that you actually do need to have a small key going up the tower most of the time.
I mean, let's be fair. Who doesn't like having a lot of keys? Also...
people in key sanity. They want as few keys as possible so they can just finish the game.
You know, that's understandable. That is definitely understandable. Zaen has entered the gauntlet.
Yeah,
going and taking care of those red Stalfos without a problem. Going into the next room with the blue dragon heads.
Horse heads, actually.
Oh, horse heads? Really?
Yeah, they're totally horse heads. Zazits are horses. They're horse. I don't know why they're horses.
Makes sense.
Somebody in the game explains why certain things turn into certain things, but the vanilla game has lots of interest in lore. The playing this game casually is really fun. Taught to everyone. Make sure you talk to everyone.
And magic powder confirmed used on the ferry going in to Lemola. with a very, very interesting cycle 1 so far. And cycle 2 almost getting... Oh, nails it at the last possible second. Zaen going in with the quickness. Xirtanul going through, taking care of the... I actually never knew those names before. I always called them dragon heads when I was a kid. Nonetheless, very, very close behind Zaen at this point. One cycle would take the roughly 35-second lead and shrink it down at least a couple of seconds by now. Oh, and he skips over the fairy, taking less seconds as it is. Zaen not picking up the second Cane of Samaria strat as flawlessly as he did the first, and falling off of the bridge. He has to do this one very carefully.
Well, the stopping for the fairy can actually mess up your Moldorm, because Moldorms start spawning when you enter that room, not the room he's in. So
and if you stop for the fairy, it does also desync them and make them so at least 2 spawn at the same time. Yes, you are very correct on that, as usual.
I know too much about the game, just don't know how to actually play it. Wish I knew how to play this video game properly.
It's okay. Meanwhile, Zaen getting through to... Oh, very, very nicely done with the mini Helmasaurs, getting the second key needed for the rest of the game. Throwing the bomb.
It's gonna come down to, I think, like, Aghanim, like, play. And I guess Ganon execution as well, but jeez.
It's gonna come down to that, and he is skipping chests. He is ready, and...
Oh, he's gotta think he's behind. I mean, the seed.
Oh, I would too at that point. After that level of tilt earlier.
Not for you.
Moldorm decided to put himself in the corner.
Oh, he started the fast sequence.
Oh, this is gonna be tight. Oh.
He's like, no, I'm not gonna slash. I'm not gonna get greedy.
Nope. He is playing it safe. He is double checking everything on that and making.
Oh, he gets it barely.
He gets it! Wow, that is a stroke of luck. And coincidentally, Xirtanul is now approaching Mini Moldorm.
He already has better Moldorm luck.
Big 20 in the meme chest confirmed.
Why are you gonna stick out your sword? Just slash.
That's why.
Slash.
No, that's why.
Okay.
Oh. And now that the meme confirmed. Everyone check the last
I feel like they probably
their own personal validation.
I don't think they would have skipped those other chests and then picked up that one without talking to each other beforehand. I'm gonna guess that they both decided to check that before the match started.
I would have at least assumed so.
Oh, gets a double even though that blew.
Oh,
wow, that was very
doubles.
clean.
2 doubles in that I see?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, misses that chance for a third double, and he was not pleased.
Oh, okay, so he got like a single.
Wow.
Yeah, that one I think was a double from Xert. So
does that mean that was 1-2-1-1?
Yes. Oh no, and Xirtanul misses the other double this time.
Ooh.
These blue balls, that, like I said, that was really good getting that double.
Oh, missed the blue ball shot on that one.
Oh no, and Xirtanul's. Oh, and then the Aga's shot got canceled out.
Oh, and he's feeling it right now. There we go.
Oh, like I said, it comes down to Aga execution.
Oh, it does now.
Oh, and he gets the little trick where you bounce between the trident. That's hard to get.
That is considering how little time you have there. You can get 5 to 6 vanilla slashes, or you can go for that double spin, and that double spin requires an extremely tight time frame.
Oh, he let the fire out. It's gonna make this a little harder.
Fortunately, he ended up getting a little luckier on that one.
Okay, we probably won't see 37 Ganon teleports.
I mean, otherwise, it's truly anti-status.
I'm glad that you know that one.
Oh, I found that one in the hard way. Oh, gets the fire glitch.
Oh, Xirtanul! Oh, Xirtanul didn't get the 1 cycle either.
Oh, and down,
that is Zane's
down
game,
goes
so we are going to
Ganon.
game 3.
And it is time to give your GGs to Zaen, taking his victory, not letting him go down without a fight. And with that, he enters the door for the Triforce. Do me a favor, what was that official time he ended up getting?
He got a official SRL time of 1:44:43.
Fantastic. And with that, he has ended the domination of Dr. Wily. He can restore the Mana Beast to form the Megazord.
Oh, that was a rush. That was a good.
Xirtanul. Oh, Xirtanul. Oh,
no, that's
Xirtanul
fine.
Not
No,
getting.
When you have silvers, it's actually better to not get torch lit sometimes. Depending on
No. I was actually more hyped for the possibility of a triple shot off of the torch.
Okay, so we will be passing this on to the next commentators.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder to all of you, make sure if you're enjoying this and you have not seen the randomizer tournaments, feel free to follow us on Discord. Feel free to follow us on Twitch under all of our channels. We have, of course, the ever so awesome Speed Gaming 2 through 4. We have ALTTP Randomizer through 4. We also will be on Randomania 1 through 4. And if you enjoyed watching these racers, they have busted their butts to make sure you had a heck of a race. And we'd like to encourage you all to go and check them out on Twitch for more randomizer and speedrunning goodness as well.
And don't forget to, if you want to, please play in the T-Sanity tournament. That is essentially giant luck fest, so pretty much anyone can win that. But it's gonna be a fun tournament. There's also the No Major Glitches tournament coming up in March. Signups for that are first come, first serve, so make sure to sign up for that. On top of that, please do watch the other tournaments. We have a bunch of tournaments closing up their group stages. So if you're not a fan of the group stages, I know some viewers aren't, because sometimes they can, let's face it, be a little bit of stomps on one end or the other. Everyone knows this. The brackets for Super Mario 64, Super Mario Odyssey, Mega Man 1, Mega Man X1 are all going to be starting up shortly, as well as, if you're a fan of Randomizer, Super Mario Brothers 3 Randomizer.
Oh, yeah.
Or Super Mario World 3 Randomizer will be starting up in the end of January as well.
Let's bring this all full circle. And speaking of excellent randomizers and more stuff to watch, we have Race 3 coming up really quick, as in next. So you definitely want to be sticking around to check that out. And to make sure to give them credit, we want to make sure to give many shout-outs and thank yous to our excellent restreamer Fiesel, as well as our tracker Dude. Make sure you give us all a little bit of love. And of course, speaking of us, make sure you give Zelnus a lot of love, as well as Epibleticus for stepping in for me being absolutely, completely, unorganized.
And the runners said they want a short break, obviously, about a 10-minute break. So we'll be getting this started about 7 after. There might be a bit of silence. I don't know. The other commentators might jump in. But for now, we'll say our goodbyes. I want to say thank you so much to all of the secondary mods who made this essentially possible. I'm going to try to remember all their names, but there's actually a few that I cannot. In the name of DT, Willard Bradley, Sakura Tsubasa, Ursula, there was GamerCal for a bit, we had Eondrick, Rick, I probably missed a few, but those are the ones I remember straight off the top of my head. In the name of DT, can't remember if I mentioned him. Whew. And
did you get Willard J. Bradley?
I did get Willard J. Bradley.
All right. My attention span is shot.
And those are the main ones I can remember. And thank you very much to the Speed Gaming staff, Fiesel included, plus all of the new staff who are on Thin. Also, don't forget about RTA in Japan. That's on Speed Gaming 3. I forgot to plug that one. That's fun. That's been a fun, very casual marathon.
Oh my
Peace
goodness!
out,
we almost forgot Hiei.
Hiei! I knew
Importantly, shout outs to Hiei for being also awesome. Absolutely. It's okay. We got everyone though. That's the important part. Nonetheless, shout outs and love to all of you, because I totally would have forgotten your names. All of you stay awesome. We appreciate you. We're going to pass this over now. Hi, I'm Glentai. That has been Zelnus. We will see you in the next race, but this time in chat.